I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about I felt disconnected. Well, if you've ever felt disconnected from somebody that you cared about, you know that it really hurts. As a matter of fact, it's one of the most painful feelings that you can experience as a human being. Now, there are some therapists out there, and quite frankly some really good ones, that believe that human nature is to feel connected to other people, and that it is a primary, like a state, a basic state, that we are supposed to be connected to somebody else, our loved ones. And when we're feeling disconnected, that is where the trouble sets in. That is the root of problems in our relationships, is when we feel disconnected. Because when we feel disconnected from somebody that we love or care about, we are then aware of anxiety. Okay, the anxiety gives us awareness that we are no longer connected to people that we care about, which means we are physically unsafe, right? If you look at how we're hardwired from hundreds of thousands of years ago, if you were too far away from those people and you felt disconnected, you would get the anxiety to bring you close to that other person or those other people, so you were safe. So, at the root of feeling disconnected is death, right? The fear of death, the awareness of death, and the pain of death. And that's why breakups feel like death. So it's important to understand and start to see the patterns and look at your past relationship and be aware that when you were feeling disconnected and you were aware of that separation anxiety, it caused you to have all of the symptoms, which ultimately causes the relationship to fall apart, for that other person to lose attraction for you, and so on and so on. So I got a really good email today from someone in her mid-30s who is dating a guy that's quite a bit younger. He's about 10 years younger, a little bit more than 10 years actually. And let me get into this email, because I think this one is going to really help you see how that pattern plays out, because it's very important to understand it. So she said, "Hi Craig, thanks for your helpful and insightful videos on YouTube. I know you must have put a lot of energy in each content. I've watched a lot of them to keep me sane. Thanks again." She goes on to say that she's in her mid-30s, and the guy that she dated was, let's say, about 10, 11 years younger, and they only dated for about 6 months, okay? So what she said is that neither of them have any kids, and they weren't engaged. Obviously, they were only together 6 months. So she said, "We met at work, but my position was higher than him, so we agreed to keep it a secret. My boss doesn't like his assistant to date anyone in the office, as his personal affairs might go around. We mostly communicate through WhatsApp. We rarely speak on the phone. He felt very connected, and he told me I understood him in this world." See, he felt that strong, powerful connection to you. Wonder if there's some kind of familiarity there. In other words, do you remind him of his mother? We got that whole age thing going on there too, right? He said I was the person whom he'd been looking for. Now remember, it's only been 6 months, so it's very easy to project our fantasy and our unmet need onto that person. At first, I was worried about the age gap. but we were spending quality time together. My family do not like me dating much younger men. They thought that he'd take advantage of me and that he'd leave me for a younger girl when I'm older. Well, I mean, that is possible, but, you know, if somebody really loves you, then it's probably not going to matter. I watched your video, and I think I'm mild anxious attachment style, and he is an avoidant attachment style. He loves drinking. He can drink every day in social settings. That's a lot. Drinking every day, that's a lot. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but every day, that's excessive, right? When we first dated, he told me it's the first time he was sober for the whole week, and that he liked that. That was the first time he's been sober for a week? Not just going out having a drink or two, mind you. Think about what he's saying here. Sober. He is drinking every single day to the point that he's drunk. Tells me he's probably got tremendous amounts of anxiety, and he doesn't know how to soothe himself. He doesn't know how to change his internal state. I drink socially also. However, I never stopped or asked him to stop drinking. It's the thing that he has to decide for himself. On weekends, he can start drinking from 9 p.m. on Friday until midnight on Sunday with his friends. It's his way to disconnect with reality. Well, think about that. Friday, 9 o'clock till Sunday at midnight. That's pretty heavy. I don't think he's disconnecting from reality. I think he's disconnecting from that internal state. Yeah, maybe somewhat disconnecting from, reality, but I just don't like the way, I don't think he likes the way he's feeling inside, and he's not handling it like an adult. He told me that he was neglected in his childhood, as his parents just focused at work and making money. That's got to make you feel good as a kid, right? I could feel the pressure he got from his family. His father started his own business from almost nothing. I think he was pressuring himself too. His mother doesn't know how to communicate her love to him. It always ended up with them quarreling. Okay, so he doesn't have a good relationship with mom. There's some tension there. Says, to me, childhood probably wasn't good. The relationship wasn't good. He probably has a real issue relating with people and bonding and connecting with people. Probably has never had it. I saw his potential, and we made his new CV together. I don't know what CV stands for. We practiced interviewing, and he could get a new job, which is double paid. However, around a month into his new company, I felt I'm not his priority anymore. Now, whether that's real or imagined, it's going to hurt equally, right? Whether you were imagining that he wasn't making you a priority because he was focusing on the business, or he was really not making you a priority, doesn't change how much it hurts you. It hurts the same. He said he's busy and he'd like to think about many other things. So, yeah, he's kind of telling you these other things are a priority. He had time for new colleagues, fitness, but less for me. We met once a week. Previously, it was around 3 or 4 times a week, as we're in the same office. He didn't want to do as I planned, as he always says he's tired. I felt disconnected. Makes sense to me, because you guys were seeing each other more, spending that time together, and now it looks like he's prioritizing other things, and it hurts. And you're trying to reach out and make plans with him, and he's like saying, well, I'm tired. And you're probably feeling like, well, if I meant something to you, you would come see me even though you're tired. I think that's how a lot of us would feel. Alright. When we actually met, it often ended up with me being angry with him as I didn't feel loved. Of course, you're anxious to see him, you're feeling disconnected, you're wanting to spend that time with him, and then when you're there with him, you're frustrated because you're like, I want more of this. And so you're angry and you're lashing out and manipulative to try and get what you want. I'm insecure and his actions really hurt me. He didn't understand it and he was also upset with me. Well, why was he upset? Because of your behavior, or was there something else that he wasn't telling you? He said that I was someone needy and he didn't like that. Well, we're human beings and we all have needs, right? And so you're trying to connect with him and bond with him and you miss him, all that time you were spending together, now it's going away. And now he's like, well, now you're being needy because he's prioritizing other things like the business or whatever's going on. You're saying new colleagues, and so you're feeling like you're getting the short end of the stick here. You could see why you were getting upset. In our last conversation, I told him I knew he was busy, but I felt like I've got only the leftovers from him. Yeah, I could see why you felt like that. We didn't spend quality time together anymore, and I wished he'd be able to give me more attention. Looking back, I think here's where I went wrong. He didn't reply to this. I said goodnight a few hours later, but he didn't reply. We texted good morning and good night every day. The following day, we had a dinner appointment made in advance with my friends. He didn't confirm. I sensed something was wrong. Well, I'm guessing that your gut is right on this one. He's feeling pressure from you, and now because you're putting all these demands on him and he's pushing you away, it's just, hard to break this vicious cycle. At noon, I just told him the time and venue. He asked whether it's okay if he didn't go because he didn't feel like going anymore. I called him, which was very rare, after work to ask what's going on. He said he didn't like when I held his hands. She says, what? Yeah, what is right? You don't like when I hold your hands. I think his interest is going, right? Further and further down. He said he told me a few times already. I said, you just told me not to tease you when you were driving. Okay. I got the hint that he's done with me. So I asked him if we solved the problem about holding hands, were we going to continue the relationship? He didn't reply. He said he would call when he was ready. Oh, now he's getting to have all the power in this. I'll call you when I'm ready. And then you're going to be sitting there by the phone feeling like you're dying inside. There can't be a power imbalance in relationships. If there is, it makes it really, really hard to keep them going. Call when he was ready, but he's disappeared since. So, been almost 4 weeks. I haven't contacted him at all. Luckily, I'm not his social media friend. I feel like I'm left hanging. I know closure comes from within, but it still hurts to be treated like this. It sure does. I feel like he doesn't love me enough to try and work it out. I feel like I'm not even worth his time to end it properly. I could see all of your points, and I probably would feel the same way, and I think most people watching this video would feel the same way. Right after the breakup, I go to the gym, go swimming every day. I know exercise helped reduce stress. I had my new haircut, got my face treated, etc., etc. I've listed the positive things from breaking up with him. I try to see him as a human being who seeks for happiness as well. I appreciated that the relationship happened. The question is, how to react if he reaches out, in case I'm still interested in him. How I can work on myself in order to make him stay. admittedly, I'm not sure about making up. The thing that is worse than breaking up is breaking up twice with the same person. There are some underlying problems such as age gap, financial matter. I earn like 5 times more than him, so I think he starts getting used to me paying mostly everything. No more thank yous recently. Yeah, so you're feeling like he's taking you for granted. I don't know whether he loves me. He doesn't speak much. Thank you in advance. Okay, so based on what I'm hearing here, obviously his interest level has dropped. You guys only dated for 6 months, so I don't know how much he really loved you or how attached he really was, as you didn't tell in your email if he even had said that to you before. So the age gap can be a problem for certain situations. In this one, he's like only in his mid-20s, and yeah, you are over 10 years older, so maybe that is a problem for him, and he didn't express it to you. Some people it's a problem for, some people it isn't. It just depends on each person, right? But as far as how to handle him if he comes back around again, you got to make him work for you. Because I think what happened here is he kind of got everything from you. You kept doing all these nice things for him, and he stopped appreciating you. And when that happens, you became more and more invested in him, and he was showing less and less interest. And so if he comes back around again, you got to make him work to get back into your life. Make him show you that he wants to be a part of your life, and that he really does want something more than just casually hooking up with you, because I think you're probably not going to be happy with that in this situation. And, you want him to appreciate you, and he didn't, right? He didn't. He stopped. And so you got to create your own value here, right? As I talk about in the video, we create our own value. You have to create a value for yourself and say, look, you kind of just vanished on me, and that hurt, and I don't know if you're going to do it again, so if you want to be a part of my life, you got to show me, because I don't want the same thing to happen again. But we'll see what happens with this guy. Who knows how much of it had to do with his business. He was just getting a new business launched and was probably feeling a lot of pressure from that. But, maybe if that settles down again and he finds himself having some more free time, he'll want to include you and explore things with you again. So, if you want to get my help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching, I do Skype coaching. If you got to get with me right away, I do offer emergency Skype coaching. And now you can get coaching with Margaret in very limited availability. So make sure, if you want to talk with her too, just go to askcraig.net, and at the top of the screen where it says Margaret, you just click on that, and that's where you can get a Skype with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.